Sounding more different every hour. WQNA, Springfield.
That's me. Hello, everybody. This is Clark from Lewis and Clark's Money Pit. We are bringing you a show that we promised from last week, and Lois has taken the week off so we can bring you this interview with NFL expert, fantasy football expert, and radio show host Mr. Russ Bliss from KDUS, Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Russ Bliss. Welcome to WQNA. Russ, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for having me on.
I wanted to go to the coaching on for the St. Louis Rams this year. What do you think is going to happen there on the actual coaching? Do you look at Hazlitt staying on, or what's going on there?
Well, with the St. Louis Rams right now, their first interview was with Winston Moss from Green Bay, and the Rams are looking to go with a defensive-minded head coach, and that's desirable, but it's not entirely necessary. A good offensive-minded head coach who brings in a strong defensive coordinator is just as good, as the Rams have problems on both sides of the ball. The defense is underachieved since Lovie Smith left, and while the Rams have spent a lot of high draft picks on that side of the ball, they've received little in return for those draft picks. Reports were that Moss had a good interview, but the organization wasn't wowed by him. It now appears that Moss is higher on the list of the Raiders' desired possible replacements there than in St. Louis. GM Billy Devaney said that he wants a head coach hired by the Super Bowl, but if he really wants Baltimore defensive coordinator Rex Ryan, he may have to wait past that. And if Ryan and the Ravens get to the Super Bowl, there's a chance that Ryan may be in line for a bigger contract and the Rams are willing to shell out. So there's also Vikings defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier. He's a serious candidate. They just finished up a 2-day interview with him. And also on the short list is Giants defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo and Jim Hazlitt and Cowboys offensive coordinator Jason Garrett.
Well, question. Let's go back to Rex Ryan just for a moment. I heard that he's actually high on the Jets list over there. Or have they actually hired their coach already?
No. The Jets haven't made a pick on their head coach yet, and I personally like Ryan a lot. I would like for him to get the job in St. Louis, but really I just don't see that happening. There would be a lot of unrealistic expectations on him to turn the defense in St. Louis around too quickly when he doesn't have nearly the same level of talent personnel-wise as he has to work with in Baltimore. I think the Jets are a more likely destination, but they appear to be in no hurry to hire a head coach. They seem to be willing to wait for the playoffs to play out. And if they're willing to wait on Brett Favre, I'm willing to bet they're more than willing to wait on the Ravens, having concluded their season, in going after Ryan.
Any word on the Rams or on the Jets on Brett Favre at all?
Brett Favre, they're not giving him a timetable. They're letting Brett Favre go ahead and have a couple of weeks off to figure out how he feels. But I really think that a lot's going to have to do with the new coaching staff that they bring in.
Yeah, same old story with Brett, but that I guess he's earned that right during the years that he's played. But with that being said, with the defense in mind, what is your evaluation on Chris Long last year?
Well, Chris Long did good. He wasn't the instant impact player that many thought he was going to be, but the talent around him isn't great. He had 40 tackles, 4 sacks. Those are pretty much right in line with what I thought he would get for the season. He showed flashes of great ability, and he started the season strong, but he looked gassed by the end of it, and that happens a lot to rookies who start right away and are relied on to play a lot of snaps, especially at such...
Now, we talked about the defense, but when I got your email, I thought it was quite funny. You said that they were looking at a defensive mind would probably be the best, but I was looking at the first 4 games that the Rams played this year, and they got burnt into the secondary like you wouldn't believe. However, I was also looking at that offensive line. That needs an overhaul. Is there any plans of attack on that as far as upgrading the offensive line?
Well, I'll answer the defensive secondary first. Staying healthy would be a good start for the Rams secondary in order for them not to get burned. But Ty Hill is small. He has trouble with the bigger wide receivers. Fakir Brown and Ronald Barcel are okay, but neither is really a solid starter. And they need help at strong safety as well. That's the position that Chavis plays. It would help if they got a better pass rush. The Rams only had 30 sacks on opposing quarterbacks in 2008. They need to get more pressure on the quarterback. That really helps the secondary out. As far as the offensive line really needs a lot of help. Orlando Pace is breaking down every year, and his career is just about over with. Alex Barron hasn't lived up to his first-round draft status, and he makes too many mistakes. Richie Incognito is a head case, and he's likely going to be gone. Jacob Bell spent most of the year injured, and the team could use an upgrade there. And Brett Romberg did okay filling in for Nick Leckie when Leckie broke his foot and was placed on IR, but I don't see him being the long-term answer at center. The Rams allowed 45 sacks in 2008, and while Bolger holding on to the football too long was part of the reason, he also didn't get great pass protection most of the time. Look for this team to be scouring the free agent market and the draft to upgrade the position. They have the second pick in the first round, so the Rams could be thinking the best offensive lineman available. While a lot has yet to play out at the combine and individual workouts and so on, a guy right now that's high on a lot of lists is Alabama tackle Andre Smith. He could be tempting there as a replacement for Pace or Barron if Smith does well in the combine.
Yeah, he is definitely in the first round eyes. I've been reading up on him. So I was looking at also the offense, how they were decimated with those injuries you were talking about on the offensive line. But if you look at Bennett with his groin, Randy McMichael, we don't even know what his status are. What do you know about those two guys?
Well, Drew Bennett, you remember he had the groin injury going into 2008, but it wasn't anything that wasn't really, for the most part, healed up by the start of the first game. However, he broke his foot in week one and never saw the field again. He supposedly was impressive in training camp before he suffered that minor groin injury, but Bennett has a high price, and with the emergence of Donnie Avery, Bennett could be cut by whoever is named the new head coach. They could also keep him. I personally think he deserves one more year before cutting ties with them. As far as Randy McMichael goes, he broke his leg in the first month of the season, and while he'll be fine by training camp, I really doubt he's going to be with the Rams. He was a Scott Linehan hand-picked tight end for this offense from their days together in Miami. And with Linehan gone, combined with McMichael being in the last year of a contract that's going to pay him $3.6 million in 2009 if he's on the team, I just don't see a new coaching staff keeping him around.
What's the status on Torrey Holt? I mean, where do you think that he's going to be with that new coaching staff, where he's going to be, and what will his role be?
Well, I tell you what, as far as Holt coming back to the Rams, I kind of doubt it. Holt has made it clear he wants out of St. Louis and will count $10 million against the cap in 2009 if he's with the team. Now, he said that he's not going to restructure, and I believe that unless he's got glowing respect for whoever the new head coach is, I think he's going to be gone. But a lot still has to play out. What players say in January, subject to change come around summertime. Avery would take over if Torrey Holt did go. He's a good wide receiver, but he needs to run better routes, and that will lie solely on his speed to shake defenders.
Well, he gets lazy on the routes, and that was evident on a couple of the games after Hasler took over. I saw almost a give-up sometimes, depending on the play, on where he was, what route he was running too. So that part I agree with you on. How's Leonard Little doing?
Leonard Little was bothered by a hamstring injury before he tore it mid-season. He managed to play through it, but it clearly affected him. He wasn't the impact defensive end that he's been historically in his career. A full off-season should allow it to heal up, and while he's going to be entering his 12th season in 2009, he should be healthy by training camp for sure.
That sounds good. Now, that covers the Rams. I mean, we're looking. As a matter of fact, I at the beginning of the year foolishly thought that they would be up there because when they were in the off season, they were working on that offensive line, and then the decimation of those injuries came